This presentation is titled Hacking Your Attitude, and it's a presentation that is motivational, inspirational. This is what I've been asked from Echeverri. I don't know whether I'll be able to meet my objective, but I do hope that it provides you with some food for thought. First of all, I'd like to thank you. Also, those that are watching this presentation via streaming and the attendees. I'm Daniel. Some of you know me with the moniker Adastra. I'm the author of the blog thehackerway.com, and I've published books on Python for pen testers, hacking with Python. You can find these books on the website of the publishing house 0 Times Word, and I'm very much involved in pen testing and in training. Good. Having said this presentation will describe the process that all professionals need to follow when they choose a specific career or career path. This doesn't only apply to IT as such, all areas of knowledge. When we are at that point in our lives in which we have to decide what we're going to devote our lives to, we're in the process of self-learning, self-knowledge, and decision-making. Usually, we're talking about critical times during which you need to decide what you want to do for a living. And everything that decision entails. We've all gone through this. We've all have had to decide what we want to do in life, and this is undoubtedly a very important decision, as it will pave the way to our future. When we are young, when we're teenagers, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, first thing that comes to our mind is what field of study should I go for? What degree do you want to study? What suits my personal skills and interests best? What do I want to do in life? This is a critical time in everybody's life. We often have many doubts. We don't know whether our decision will be correct, whether what we have chosen is good for us. And it's quite a critical period of everybody's life. And this is something that we need to understand, because the decision we'll make will mark or shape our lives, because depending on the career path we choose, we will have one life and not another. It will shape our lives, it will determine our future opportunities and life in general. In the field of IT, what we need to ask ourselves is, am I really the kind of person who needs to work in IT? Am I willing to work in IT? Because this field is different to others. IT, computing, is not a traditional career. It's quite a special occupation. There are many specificities to computing, to IT. And this is something that we need to consider when we decide on a specific course of study. And we also need to ask ourselves, the attitude that I have now, is it appropriate, yes or no? Of course, attitudes are essential, as they will help us do things. They will help us move on, but a good attitude is a decisive factor, and it can be, from my point of view, even more important than the skills. An adequate mindset or attitude vis-a-vis some situations can lead to either success or failure. If we don't have a good attitude when facing these different problems or situations, fortunately, it is highly likely that we fail in what we do. So attitude is of vital importance. This presentation, of course, is based on my personal and professional experience. I'm going to talk about what I've experienced, what I've gone through, and it's very personal. I'm just giving my personal opinion, and of course, you can agree or not. What course of study should I follow? Well, don't choose a course of study that you believe will make you rich. That's something that we're often sold when we're trying to make up our minds. Do you really want to study IT? Really? But don't study IT or nor other undergraduate degrees because you believe you're going to make big bucks. No, that's not the reason behind that. No, or you shouldn't study a course of study just because the job prospects are good. Nobody can guarantee that you're going to make good money. Don't choose a career because your parents are pressuring you to study that. For example, if they pressure you to study law and you don't like law, it's a matter of saying, no, this is not for me. This is not what I want. You know better than anyone else what you're good at and what you're not. Nobody knows it better than you. This is something that you shouldn't forget and that you should reflect on. You need to know what you want for your life. Don't choose a course of study because of external pressures. That's the ultimate message. And don't choose a course of study because there's the market trend, because there's a great demand of professionals in this field by the market. Trends, just as fashions, are sometimes temporary. Nobody can guarantee that that which you have chosen will last forever and will ensure a promising professional future. It's very important that you enjoy the work you do, that what you've chosen is really for you, is good for you, something you enjoy. I've seen this in computing. There are many people that have studied computing, that have studied IT and the different areas of IT because they thought that this was a career path where there was a lot of work. It's true, there's work. But if you don't love what you do, if you don't have a passion for it, it'll be hard for you to wake up in the morning and go to work to do something you don't love, you don't enjoy. This is very difficult, and at the end of the day, in general, in life, most of the time we spend is time we spend working. So if you choose to do something you don't like, and you probably end up hating your career, your work, and then there will come a time in which you will realize that it was a bad decision. IT or computing is a profession that requires great effort and time. You need to be committed and constant. It's not as pretty as some say, as Mr. Robot and other TV shows aim to depict. IT security is cool, hacking is cool, but it requires long hours, much effort. You need to sacrifice things, and sacrifice is a constant in this occupation. This is something that needs to be borne in mind. And for what I was explaining earlier, we often forget this. We think, okay, there's a great demand for professionals. I'm sure I'll find my way in the labor market. Well, probably that's the case. But if this is a job that you don't like, that is not for you, you'll probably end up very frustrated. You need good attitude. You need to choose a profession, a career that you love, that motivates you, that you feel passionate about. That's key. Maybe it's not computing. Maybe it's, I don't know, music, the arts, maybe philosophy, humanities, and you're good at that. If you see that it's something you do constantly in a routine fashion and that you like, you're good at. It's true that with practice and with time, activities, end up tiring us. But if your body is tiring, but your brain wants more, you're motivated, well, probably that's your field. It can be gastronomy, it can be whatever, virtually whatever. Sing, paint, draw. Those are all part of the skills that someone can have, and if it's what motivates you, go for it. Don't be scared. Be brave. Be brave enough to pave your own way. If you choose to be a computer technician or an IT technician, you're often viewed as you can see on the slide. People like my friends think you're a freak, always tinkering with computers. Parents believe that you're playing with a console, and society views IT experts, well, as hackers that work in IT security and that do a great amount of cool things. Yes and no. What does my boss think I do? If you are not self-employed, your boss will think that you're a profit-making machine, and he will want to ensure the greatest benefit in exchange of the wage he is paying you. What I believe I do, sometimes we view ourselves as artists. What we do is something we're very passionate about. We love it. And we believe we're doing something that can be interpreted as art, but what we often do is extinguish fires. Sometimes we find ourselves with problems. Our customer or our company has had a problem, and we need to go there to help them extinguish the fire as fast as possible, as effectively and efficiently as possible. And this is what computing is about, be it regarding network systems, programming, IT security. It's almost always the same, so we need to bear this in mind, particularly those that are watching this via streaming and that are thinking about studying IT. How can I meet my goal? So, you've had this process of self-discovery and you decide to study a degree in IT, in computing. A good starting point, of course, is training. To choose a good university, get a degree, that's a good starting point. It's a new way of beginning. However, we need to consider that this is just one step in a long journey that will probably last all your life, because IT is one of the very limited careers that evolve constantly. Every year we see new things, new technologies that emerge, and since technology emerges, our knowledge needs to be adapted accordingly, and our attitude as well. We need to be constantly willing and open to change. There are several areas of expertise: networks, systems administration, programming, IT security, a bit of everything, really. If you really love the hacking philosophy, if that's what you're very passionate about, you'll know because everything will motivate you. When you start, you love programming, you love administrating, Apache administrator. You're motivated by everything, and you're trying to do it all. And that's, in my opinion, what characterizes a person that follows the hacker philosophy. Basically, this is someone that is very much motivated by technology, that is passionate about technology, that aims to go a bit further. Sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, and these people are very interested and very passionate about this. Attitude or mindset, this is very important. What are the necessary ingredients to be a good professional, especially in the field of computing and IT security? As I said earlier, you need to feel very passionate about what you do. Second, you need to be very constant. We need to be constant in what we do. Usually things don't work out the first time. We need to insist, try, and try over and over again. And after trying 20,000 times, it will work. And that's really cool. And it's very motivating to see that we do something and that after great effort, well, our baby is born. That is a source of motivation. And of course, human beings work are creatures of habit, and you know this very, very well. Something as simple as waking up in the mornings to go to work or to uni. This is a habit in itself, and this becomes our routine, and our bodies and our minds are adapted to these routines, these habits. We do this automatically. I don't know if we realize this, because since you repeat the routines every day, you act out of muscle memory. You're not even aware of the process about what you're doing. And you take public transportation, maybe you walk to catch the bus, then you go to your office, you sit on your table, you turn on your computer. This is your daily habit, your daily routine.
So if we've a methodology in place to study and working, this could be something internal. Sometimes these habits can be positive or negative, and the negative ones may be considered as addictions. Habit which take into its negative implications, the results are not adequate. A positive habit may be encouraged. For instance, I'm speaking about this out of experience, my own experience. For instance, in order to study or work, I always follow the same methodology. On Sundays, I decide which activities or which tasks I need to carry out the following week. And I always do this on Sunday night. And then during the week, I follow a methodology based on a Commodore. This is something that is done in a short span of time. 45 minutes or so. So during these 45 minutes, I focus on what I need to do. Constantly, without breaks, no distraction, nothing, without looking at the Twitter or mobile phone or anything. I just deal with what I just focus on what I need to do. After these 45 minutes, I take a 15-minute rest in order to look at Twitter, Telegram, take a rest, drink some water, stretch. This is what I was saying earlier about creating habits or a habit, and this is a good way to reach your target. That is to create a methodology that's positive and that's satisfactory. And also, we need to be humble. You need to feel proud for what you've achieved and for what you do, but don't think you're that special because you've just learned a couple of things, and there are so many things you can learn, and there are many more things you don't know of, so you need to be humble. And along the same lines, be nice, be open, be kind, don't be arrogant, because I've seen this amongst computer experts. Many of them are too arrogant, too pompous, and there's no reason for acting like this. One needs to be open, one needs to be kind, we need to see others for what they are. People who can give and you can learn from, and one needs to be open, kind, nice. You have to be nice to people to avoid gossipers, charlatans, people who talk too much, who want to sell you things. And very often you find people, what they seek, what they want is to attract talents, people who are fresh out of university. And these people who are very good at detecting talent, but they never think that this talent could be strengthened, and what they try to do is to exploit that talent in order to profit, to use these people, and this is what they do. They put them to work in projects that are ambitious, and they make use of the fact that these are people without experience, they're young, so they make money, they make a profit. with others' efforts, and so you need to uh, know, you need to understand how good you are at what you do. So respect yourselves. It's not saying that you can work anywhere because you're going to gain a lot of experience. That's not always the case. Don't be fooled. And sometimes the EPs, these people, you can tell who these people are. They do a lot of talking and not much working. And I've seen many people who say, I'm the leader of an elite group, and I'm giving you the opportunity to join our club, to join our group. And some people believe it, so never trust them. Things must be clear right from the start. If you're offered a job, you need to understand what you're going to be doing and how good you are. And also think in terms of projects, because that's a way to gain experience, because you're going to be interacting with people who share interests with you and who normally share your attitude, your capabilities. If you're in a job you're not interested in, don't just stay there. Move. Try and change and move. If there's something that's not motivating you, that's not bringing in anything interesting, you need to understand, you need to stop and take a look and think if you're gaining anything from this, if you're learning, if there's something you don't like in your life, well, change it. I know this is more easily said than done, but you need to try. Your profession matters, but it's not the only thing there. We computer experts think that we solve problems, we learn things, and sometimes, we go too fast, and we tend to forget to develop other capabilities, other skills, our personal relations with friends, with family. And don't forget, because in the end, there'll come a time where all of a sudden you'll say, I know so much about this and that, but, this friend I met 3 years ago, where is he? Where is she? I don't know. What's become of them? So try and learn other things that may be interesting for you, not just computer science, other things that may be nice, maybe language learning, I don't know. Learn how to dance, how to sing, or whatever. Swimming. I am a professional, and then what? And many people think that their ultimate goal, especially young people when they're at university, they think that their ultimate goal is to get a degree. And they say, that's it, I get a degree, and that's it. And now it's more work, and finish, and that's it. I have 2 university degrees, 5 master's degrees. I speak I don't know how many languages. Well, that's nice, it's great. It's if you go into start working for a company, you must make sure that they see this, that they appreciate it, that they value it. You've made a big effort, and you must make sure that this effort is somehow rewarded in economic terms, which is what we all do. In the end, we work for money. Don't accept the first bad offer somebody presented with because of the crisis or whatever. Many a times we feel we have to accept some conditions that are abusive, but try not to despair. Just keep looking, and in the meantime, try and keep strengthening your capabilities, your skills. Just keep going. You need to make use of what you know how to do. And gaining experience is fine, but people should really appreciate what you do. Don't complain because there's no work. If there's no work, well, fine. Let's try and generate work. There are many activities, many things that may be good for you. This goes hand in hand with entrepreneurship. If whatever you do may be of interest for others, if you're in a project that's innovative, don't complain because there's no work. Try and look for work, try and generate, try and work in projects that may be interesting, innovating, and, go for them. You might believe in yourself, be confident, and try and survive. And you find a job and now you need experience. Good. Okay, you're out of university, you have a degree, and all of a sudden you start working for a company, any job. You're gaining experience, and is that what you want for life? And that's the next question you should ask yourself, because many people work for others their whole lives, whole careers. That's a normal thing to do, I guess, and that's what just about everybody does. They work life, they have children, family, they wait for retirement, and that's it. That's fine, that's nice, that's why not? Everybody knows what they want, but not everybody wants the same thing. So therefore it's important to have a clear future perspective and to think what it is you want for yourself. If that is what you want, then fine, great. Make sure you make progress, make sure you evolve, make sure you do those things you like doing, those things that satisfy you. And if you work for others, you most of the time you're going to have weekends off and certain 3 hours during the week. Make sure that during that time you keep studying, you keep gaining skills. Try and learn, improve. When we work for others, we somehow adapt. We adapt to the job. We do 2 or 3 activities, and that's it. And then on weekends we study, we rest, we do other things that are not necessarily related to our profession, and we become stagnated, and we start lagging. We start because technology evolve, and trying to be updated, remain updated, and catch up is a different thing. There may come a time when you want a change. If you work for a company, maybe you say, well, keep doing the same old thing. I'm sick and tired. I want to do something different. Don't worry. Try it. It's bad enough to stay in a company that you don't like and where you're not doing your best, and life is short, and if you don't enjoy what you do, don't waste your time. If you're not happy with what you do, change, move. It's really important. And if you're not happy with your job, with what you do, it's sad. It's hard. You shouldn't put up with this. And if you decide to work for others, you must be aware of 2 things. You plan your time, and your ability to do it is essential for achieving success. And if you don't plan your time, if you don't have a proper timing, you're going to waste opportunities, and you're not going to focus on what you're really interested in. So a good planning is super important, especially when you work for third parties, for others, when you're not self-employed. And most likely you'll do some things that are motivating because maybe these are projects you've chosen, but you're also going to have to do things that are not strictly related to computer science. You're going to have to work with clients, generate invoices, things which maybe you don't like, but you're going to have to take care of them. And have you plan your timing? Have you be able to, you know, accept that sort of tasks without difficulty, without being so boring and bummer. And when I was asked to give this presentation, they asked me to try and inspire people. I'm not telling you to follow or do what I did, because there are many other examples of people you can read about or study, people who've left a print, a trace, and these are the people we should look at. And these are people that have made a good use of their skills. Nicholas, Copernicus, Darwin, Galileo, Galilei, people who've gone through this, who discovered this and that, and who really did, and who evolved and progressed. And these things do help. So I'm not trying to be an example for anybody, because this is, and in this presentation, somebody that organizers asked me to do was to give a talk that would inspire young kids so that follow your steps. I'm not trying to be an example for anybody. I know exactly what it is I want, and I try and go for it. But I think that everybody has to choose. Everybody has to choose their own thing and to know what it is they want, and that's everybody has to do things according to what they're interested in. You need to create your own future based on your goals, your aspirations. Now, people who believe and who follow the star. These are people who have some skills, that perhaps inspire others. Pablo González.
Ahora mismo trabaja para Telefónica Digital.
Somebody who works for Telefónica, somebody who's kind, nice, humble, somebody with his feet right on the ground, somebody who loves what he does. You can tell when talking to him, because he's somebody who takes care of, he does tests, and he's absolutely in love with what he does. And he comes to venues, to places like these, in order to share their experience and what they do.
You can tell he loves what he does. David Bogan, also an expert, but in this case an expert in radio frequency. In my opinion, David Bogan is one of the world experts in radio frequency. He is very well known here in Spain. He has very strong values. You can speak about things openly with him. And when you speak with David, he tells you stories. He tells you what he does. He's very entertaining in the way he explains things. Also in his presentation, he gets you hooked. It's amazing. And that's because he's very passionate about what he does. And he conveys this with such feelings, with such emotions, that he wants you to, he makes you want to know more and more. Lorenzo Martinez, the CEO of Securízame, someone who I admire as well. Lorenzo Martinez has fought hard, has struggled to get where he's got, and he is someone that is working hard day after day. He's extremely hard working, and he has amazing skills. Among them, the fact that he is multi-thread, as I like to say. He's multitasker. He is working on one task, and at the same time, he is tinkering with his mobile. He's speaking with you. He is solving an incident, whatever. He can multitask, and that's an amazing skill as well. Not everybody is able to multitask. Not everybody is able to do so many things simultaneously. And he is someone that is amazing. He has built his own way. He has paved his own path. He has set up his own company, and things are going well for him because he's working very, very hard. He's got the passion. He's got an appropriate attitude to be able to make this happen. Another person who inspires me, it's a girl in this case. She doesn't like me quoting her, so I'm just using her moniker. And she doesn't participate in many events, but aside from having a sound knowledge about many different fields, this is someone with a very strong feeling of community. This is a girl that loves to integrate and build ties among people. He loves people working as a team, sharing knowledge, and this is something you see often. In the world of IT security, sometimes you have loners that work in silos. It's not like before. In the past, there was a real, genuine community where people interacted and shared knowledge. Now we have many people working on their own. We see that people tend to compete against each other, tend to say that what they do is better than what others do, and they boast. And that's what we tend to find in the world of ITs. And we need to recover that old school philosophy of community building, creating a team, creating those ties. And to finish off, I'd like to mention two quotes that I love. The one is part of my moniker, Ad Astra. It's a quote by Seneca. And it's a quote that I read many years ago. And this is the life philosophy that I've always wanted to follow. Per espera ad astra. Through difficulties, you will reach the stars in Latin. This is a life philosophy that has inspired me. You need to work and work, and if you work hard, sky is the limit. You need to be willing to face those difficulties, willing to make an effort, and as a result of effort and sacrifice, you will reach success. It's a matter not only of skills, but of attitudes. And let me also mention another quote, a Chinese proverb. I love studying Chinese. I've been studying traditional Chinese for 3 years, and this quote says, 'Shi shan wo nu shi, shi ba wo.' What does this mean? This means that there's nothing difficult in this world for someone that is determined. If you have the adequate mindset, and if you're willing and to meet your goals, you will make it eventually because you've got the right attitude, you've got the right mindset, you've got the determination. This is very interesting as well, and then determination is very much valued and appreciated in Chinese culture, sacrifice and effort. And that brings my presentation to an end. Thanks very much. That was all on my side. Thanks very much for those of you that have joined me, those that have followed me via streaming. Thank you. If you have any doubts or questions, you can contact me via Twitter, via Telegram. I'll be more than happy to answer.